Do you, while you're looking for your notes, want to see something that I'm not sure you've seen yet?
The dolls?
No, it's a poster.
Oh. Is it Yelena?
No, it's a poster for Multiverse of Madness.
I've seen it.
Oh!
It's so good.
It's so good!
I posted it on Instagram when I was in the bathroom.
Shit. Okay. Oh, man, so I missed you by like 10 minutes.
Yeah, is it official? Or Andy Park posted it where I saw.
I mean, it says Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment tweeted it, so it's real. It is so good.
I'm hoping that they're like gothic angsty sensibilities really sort of prey off each other. I'm hoping it goes hard.
I'm so excited. It's like I was talking with somebody else, one of the people we follow on Twitter, and I was like, I like it equally, but in the exact opposite way that I liked the Ragnarok poster. It's so good.
We're in a kind of a changing point for posters. Like if you look back, it's like kind of by decade posters have a very specific style, and I can tell Ragnarok was the first one where I was like, oh, we're breaking some molds here.
Anyway, I love it. I've been looking at it all morning.
So she's going to be like a co-headline, I guess.
I think so. I think it's the two of them.
Yeah. I thought she was going to be like a supporting player.
I don't think so. I think it's
she is the most popular female character as she should be. Although we're about to talk about some really steep competition. So good. Not sponsored, but please sponsor.
Could be.
Please. Could you imagine if I just had cases of Celsius?
I mean.
You could. I like the orange because it's actually kind of like orange juicy. It's almost like sparkling orange juice. Oh, it's so good. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Hawkeye, Season 1, Episode 6.
So this is Christmas.
It was so good. 10 out of 10, no notes. Bye. Oh, yeah. I loved this endeavor so much. I cannot believe this is the one. I think it was the combination of stakes, new characters. I think with the other three, there was expectations of grandness.
Yeah. This was very human. A human scale.
It took place across several blocks in New York City at Christmas time.
Over like a week.
Loved it. So where do you want to start?
Boy, I have no idea. So many things happened. And that's the other thing is it was all wrapped up in like a pretty nice bow. There's nothing like there's more stuff that can happen based on what happened in this episode, but like that we can also be done. And it like feels amazing. Well,
I was going to say, if you want to start off negatively, did you want to talk about Yelena?
Okay, all right. By the end of it, it was fine, but there was a minute there in the middle, and I knew it was going to happen, but it's still, and like, it's nothing to do with Florence Pugh. She did a great job, but she just was like, you killed her. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. And I was like, what does he have to gain by lying now? You already said you're going to kill him. If you're going to kill him, why would he lie to you?
So she died because you let her.
I fought her for it, but she was better than me.
You should have fought harder.
He also knows what a Black Widow is. He knows the danger you present. Why on earth would he still be lying? Although, to that same point, it was like, Clint was like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you what really happened. And I was like, try. Try to say what really happened. See what happens.
It was annoying you guys a little bit more than it was me. And I think one of the reasons is because I'm very aware that Yelena is going to be a heavy hitter, like a major player moving forward. And so I think we sort of have to hit a lot of these notes. It's a balance. Marvel, I think, has handled so much of what they're doing so expertly and so excellently that there is a balance for what you need to include when you're introducing new characters, that especially ones that are taking on the mantle.
Sure.
It's kind of like I talked about, frequently with Teen Wolf, where it's like the entirety of season 1 of Teen Wolf is Scott learning how to be a werewolf. Yeah. And we turn other people as the series goes, and they handle it in under an episode.
Because we don't need to watch more people learn how to do it.
But unfortunately, there's valuable character growth and moments in that journey.
Yeah.
So it is a very
like walking a knife's edge.
There's a balance. And so we do need, you can't just, well, you can. I was gonna be like, you can't just take for granted that Florence Pugh and the Black Widow mantle will do all the work. And it'll do a lot of the work.
You could take that for granted, but
I don't think she handles every mission that way. I think it was for her part a combination of grief and denial.
No, 100%. I'm not saying that her like the emotional.
You know, saying she's dense.
No, of course not. But it is also, it's like that kind of thing where whenever I'm watching something that has like, you know, like a mob torture scene and the person's like, I don't know anything. And there's no excuse for anybody to believe they know anything. And they're like, I don't believe you. And then they just keep ripping their teeth out or whatever. It's like, you just are.
Well, and it's especially frustrating for us because we know what happened.
Yeah.
And we like her. So we don't like seeing her be dumb.
Yeah.
And
I also don't want her to kill Clint.
Mm-hmm.
She gets a couple really good hits in there, especially because he's not really fighting back.
I thought otherwise she was pretty exceptional in this. I love that she apparently has sort of a punk rock style that I hope stays.
Yeah.
The blue eyelashes, the mohawk braid,
oh my God.
like it was all very good. And I love this show did so much with the more grounded stakes, like, because as we mentioned, you know, coming in, that this is the most, you know, human of the stories. And the fact that they were able to make such a meal out of both Yelena and Kate scaling 30 Rock.
Yeah.
That it was genuinely what?
It was so funny. Well, Yelena does it like a fucking boss. And because she's like her equipment and everything, she knows how to do it. And she's like ready to go. And then Kate does it and just kind of like free falls. Terrifying.
There was a handful of moments in this episode where I genuinely flinched.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, an accomplishment, especially not in a movie theater. Because it's like, I remember being in Winter Soldier and kind of like flinching, but.
And then Kate landed on the ground so hard. And I was like, well, there's all of her kneecaps just gone.
She got it. I think she just, there was also some horrific implications in this. Well, I love the trick arrows. So cool, so crazy.
Yeah.
They are killing people.
Oh, yeah.
In like, but I'm talking like the siege on the Capitol and Mockingjay. Like horror. Like, I'm surprised they didn't incinerate somebody or like.
I mean, we don't know for sure. Well, and then we didn't even finish because Clint also tries to go out the window on the rope and it immediately snaps. And then he goes flying into the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
I want to know what they actually filmed. Like what, because I couldn't see the effects.
It had to be so much on a green screen. Like a real tree, like they built a tree, but on a green screen. Because there's no way they let them film actually in there.
Well, I think they did. I think, especially with night shoots, I think they were filming in 30 Rock.
Well, sure, but not in the tree.
No, it wouldn't, because they wouldn't have been filming when the tree was there. But my point is, I could believe they had a tree or pieces of tree. Like, and that's what I want to know, what was real and what wasn't, because it was all done
really well.
Very well. It was seamless.
Yeah.
The trick arrows, we had a magnetic one. I think that was my favorite.
It was good. Because
he like shoots the pole and it magnetizes all the flag poles and basically all of their weapons just go funk.
Yep.
Which thank God Maya wasn't there because then her leg would have.
Oh no, you're right. I think we actually have not really mentioned before that she has one.
I don't know that I realized.
Yeah. What is the prosthetic? A prosthetic leg.
She's got a peg leg.
I kept on amputee was the only thing in my head, and I was like, well, that's not what you call it. But she has one prosthetic leg. It's been like present a couple of times, but they haven't really put a button on it, and it was interesting. I liked it. One
of the arrows shot out like spines.
Yeah.
One of them was like razor wire.
At one point, Clint was packing one of them with like ball bearings, and I was like, so he's just making a pipe bomb. Basically. I was like, oh God.
One of them froze.
That was hellish.
The guy's leg just whoonk. One of them that was particularly fun was like an airbag.
Yep, that one was cool. And then
so it sends everybody flying. And probably the most horrific implication.
We got another Pym arrow, but it was to make things smaller. So they're like plowing the
Is it the
mafia.
2 that Will liked?
No, I don't think so. Because they were still around after.
Okay.
But it's the tracksuit mafia. 2 of them were coming in one of the trucks, plowing through and just like over the ledge into the skating rink.
It was mowing down those like metal, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that those are for this.
So you
like,
can't do that?
That wouldn't happen, but.
So Kate shoots him with she like grabs one of the arrows and shoots it, and it's a Pym arrow, but it's to make it tiny, and so then it's just a tiny little moving van.
What happens to them now?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Scott about that one. Well, there's that.
Google owl and mice.
Yeah.
To find out what happened.
Yeah. It's a no for me.
But the owl was so cute.
So cute.
His little, because I could tell that the owl was an effect, but that was making me think it was ergo magic or something.
Oh.
Where I was like, is this like an Asgardian owl? Like, but yeah, I loved that. I loved the tree. I loved the Christmas of it all. The incorporation of the Nutcracker Suite into the score. This composer must be the musical equivalent of like when Colleen Atwood gets to design for Snow White and the Huntsman.
Sure.
Because she literally was like, people think that as a costume designer that you're doing evil queen gowns.
Yeah.
And she was like, and that's just so rare.
Yeah. It's mostly just like tailoring a shirt.
Yeah. It's like gang clothes or like dirty stuff. And I was like, to get to like interpolate the Nutcracker Suite into your score must be so much fun. We did get the reveal of villain Eleanor.
Yep.
However, it wasn't as straightforward and mustache twirly as I was thinking.
I mean, she did stab Simon Callow with a sword.
Wasn't he bad?
No.
Oh. Well, Kingpin made her.
No.
In this reality where you love Kingpin, but Eleanor's got to go.
Okay, I don't think Kingpin is a good person. I love him as a villain.
I don't think she's necessarily a good person, but I was thinking she was going to be like Bond villain, and she wasn't. I found her more interesting than I was
definitely more interesting. Although those moments at the very end when she was like, no, she seriously was like, yeah, I did all those things, but it was to keep you safe. And Kate was like, shenanigans. And then the cops roll up and she's like,
is this what heroes do? Arrest their mothers on Christmas? I'm sorry.
Me and Rachel both were like, whoa, straight to jail.
Take off your flip-flop and throw it at them.
Absolutely not.
But
you're right. She was a lot more interesting. She was super interesting. And
I do think grayer than you do.
I think she's gray.
I was gonna say, am I just Edmund and the White Witch again?
I mean, a little. You're kind of low. You're running at like a 4 on the Edmund and the White Witch scale at all times.
Her dress was so pretty.
It was really pretty. She's still a bad guy. She framed Jack, who ended up just being a patsy.
I called that though. Yeah. That I was like, I just like him. Yeah. I think, and it appears that he could be around because didn't Will say in the comics his name is like Swordsman,
Swordmaster or something like that? Yeah.
Because I just love that moment that you think he's going to be such a doofus, and then he kind of rocks.
Yeah, he's still a doofus because he's talking with the one LARPer
Missy.
Wendy,
and
he's like, just they're talking about like swords and stuff, and he goes, "Oh, I got blood on my tie." It's just very silly.
I loved their like Warriors 3.
It was very good. There were 4 of them.
But the Lady Sif and the Warriors 3.
Oh, sure,
they looked like
We're all gonna die.
It was super good. I'm glad that they all were still there. I'm glad that they all made it out.
They ended up considering that we like wanted more, didn't think we were going to get it.
Yeah.
We got a lot more. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Although, so what happened between Kazi and Maya?
It was like she was not supposed to be in the business ever, and
she like took his role, kind of, or the role that was meant for him. But I actually really liked Kazi, and then it kind of felt womp womp in this episode to me.
It was a little womp womp. He's also hella dead, right? She killed him. I think I came out of it.
His face.
His face was good, but I think I came out of it preferring Maya, if I'm being honest, because she's got like more going on.
Round of applause. Her name was Alakwa.
Alakwa Cox, I think. Yeah.
I think that was a difficult character.
Yeah.
To pull off as well as she did.
Yeah.
That sort of like badass lady with a chip on her shoulder it's just real. It's real difficult, and I kind of loved her.
So she apparently is getting her own show.
I heard that.
Yeah, called Echo, which is coming. I agree with you. I do think now that she's maybe meted out her revenge, we might be in a better place with her, with the character.
And is that place standing next to Matt Murdock?
I don't know. Should it be?
I think so.
Oh.
I think they'd be good together.
I like Elektra.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're getting Elektra back.
No, I don't think we're getting Elektra back.
I like Elektra sometimes.
I do think it would be interesting to have a deaf superhero and a blind superhero working together.
And that's what I mean is I think their sensibilities, and I think like I didn't mean romantic. I meant like as partners in crime.
No, I think it would be really good. I'm interested. I am also, there was a very deliberate, like the camera shifts up as we hear a gunshot. Because she has cornered, well, first of all, Kingpin went fucking through it this episode. He got his ass kicked.
Emotionally and then physically.
And physically.
I think it's so funny that Hawkeye goes on a vacation to New York for Christmas and is just lobbing grenades at Kingpin's entire... He brings Kingpin's entire empire to its knees.
Here's the thing, too. It's like... just within the like the current Marvel universe, like the TV shows and everything, this is like the 5th time that's happened. That Kingpin his whole operation has crumbled to the ground. I think it's hilarious. I don't know how he like keeps getting up in the morning trying to keep going.
That white painting.
It is that white painting and Vanessa's somewhere. I think they ended up, I can't remember.
They flew her somewhere.
Well, they did initially, but then I think that she got arrested at the end of season 3.
Oh, that sounds right. That sounds more right.
I think they both did at the end of season 3.
I don't think she's dead.
I
liked Vanessa a lot.
Yeah. Eyelids, your
anyway, Superman's mother.
Yeah. I did really, really like him in this episode because it was like he had the conversation with Eleanor where she was like, cool, I'm done now though. Like my daughter's home, I'm done. And he was like, I don't think you are though. And then he had a similarly fraught conversation with Maya because Maya was like, I just need a couple of days. And as soon as she walked out the door, he and Kazi were like, Maya's a problem. What are we going to do? And I was like, what is going on? It's like how there was like a real leap there.
Well, if they can't control her.
Well, sure. It was just like that was the one moment where I was like, that was a intuitive leap that I'm not sure really required it.
I mean, I couldn't show you the math, but the answer it
checks
sense.
out.
Yeah, it checked for me.
So anyway, his like operation is crumbling, and then Kate kind of held her own. She kept getting licks in, but he was like just yeeting her across FAO Schwartz. Is
the assumption that Yelena was pulling her punches with Kate? Because I think she put up too good of a fight with Yelena.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think Yelena wants to hurt Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was pulling her punches.
Yeah.
They were very funny. And again, Haley Steinfeld is so good at this because I literally almost was like, do you understand what I mean? As if you could respond. But it's like for like little shit characters, number one, and especially, and I don't mean this obviously in a sexist way, but a lot of times when it's a girl with like a chip on her shoulder, it's somehow even worse because she's usually trying to compete with like the boys that she's surrounded by, and so just to have the way Haley Steinfeld was testing Yelena. And the way that we were watching her, looking at Yelena, and Yelena kind of swatting her hand away, and she just kind of...
I think the funniest moment for me in the entire episode is when Yelena finally gets her one arm, like in a lock or whatever, and then Kate just hauls up and slaps her across the face with the other hand.
What was that?
I don't know.
So fucking funny.
Gassed. Open
slap.
Palm. Smack to the face.
It's just like, Kate is not recognizing that is an assassin. Like, Yelena kills people for a living.
And Yelena, she goes, what the hell was that? But it was like one of those, like, I'm not mad, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know. It was so funny. And just the fact that Kate herself, well, like I said, we could see on Haley's face, Kate processing step by step what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't like, I'm going to get you or whatever. I don't know. She wasn't overplaying it.
Yeah.
And the pushing all the buttons because you even put the attention to detail, because you even talked about how when they cut to upstairs and people are trying to like evacuate, the other elevator had all of the buttons pushed.
I was like, because the lady was like pushing some for another elevator to go down. And I was like, oh no, it's stopping on every floor.
Because people are rightly terrified.
Yeah,
like there was one extra. She was putting in the work for her $125 when she's the one running out of the front door.
Yep.
And she was like, and I was like, you get it, honey.
Yeah, do it.
I don't know. I was so entertained. Like
it was super good. The whole thing was super good. We basically got a resolution that we talked a little bit about the Clint and Yelena fight, and they basically ended up, he ended up convincing her enough. He did a little whistle that I guess they did.
do it in Black Widow.
Okay. And she just was like, how do you know that? And he was like, Natasha talked about you all the time.
Well, she was just so gutted.
Yeah.
That Natasha talked about her and like, oh God.
Which I love. I love that because I read something a couple of weeks ago that was like, here's the thing. If Clint didn't know about Yelena, then it turns the like widow Hawkeye relationship on its head, because then it's just that like Natasha is Clint's therapist if he didn't know anything about her life. And so like getting this confirmation that he knew about her life, it just wasn't important to the stories we've seen yet to know that. I loved it. I love that he knew about Yelena, that he knew about the whole thing, that it was just like, she loved you a lot, but she sacrificed herself for the entire world. And I think the most heartbreaking part of it is that she sacrificed herself to save Yelena, even though I'm not sure she knew. She must have known that Yelena dusted.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't go that far.
It's just heartbreaking.
And I did like, because I mean, we were just as mad as Yelena was when it happened. And I do love that, like, he was like, I tried to stop her. And she's like, you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah.
And look, we've been there. And we're reevaluating those feelings now on episode 6 of Hawkeye.
I do also think I just like, he did try so hard though. They were both off the side of that mountain. It was
borderline comical while it was happening. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, they were both hanging off the side of that mountain. And it was just sort of like, I don't know. So it's just, I do kind of just want them to have a beer together one day and be like, look, this is exactly what happened. We were on an alien
they're going to be, they're going to be besties.
Yeah.
So the bad guys were arrested. Yeah. Arrested, killed, or dealt with or digested by owls. There
were also like 1,000 tracksuit mafia. Way too many tracksuit mafia.
Like the crazy 88 and Kill Bill.
They just kept coming. It was kind of crazy. And then I guess Kingpin is that was like the fade away, the like lift the camera up before we see it. He gets shot. Well,
Maya fires a gun.
I cannot imagine bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio to do one episode and then a photograph for this show.
Mild spoiler for Spider-Man No Way Home in 3 seconds.
While you've also brought back Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock and then dispatch him in this episode. There's no way.
I was going to ask if we were going to talk about that because we forgot to talk about that specific part in our Spider-Man review, that Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock is canonically in the MCU, and he looks so fucking good.
So good.
He always looks good, but he looked particularly good.
Great.
I don't know if it's just the actual cinema.
I think my favorite part is that someone threw a brick through the window and he caught it while it was coming, and they all were like, "How did you do that?"
Did he say something like, I'm a good lawyer?
Yeah, I'm a really good lawyer. Which is just super funny because, like, if anyone were to, like, be totally cool with the fact that he is a nighttime vigilante, it would be everyone in that room. But yeah, I liked that. I liked that quite a lot. I'm really, really, really excited that we have opened the Netflix MCU, the Netflix Marvel universe into the MCU. I'm really glad that those things can be together.
I want some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe not a ton, but it was...
I will take what they give.
Yeah. Well, it was just good. It's good work. So you might as well utilize it.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well take advantage of what you already have.
Yeah.
Play with the toys you already have.
And it's also such ridiculously good casting.
Mhm.
Like almost across the board, the casting that Marvel has done is exceptional. But there's something about Vincent D'Onofrio. He just embodies it. It's ridiculous.
Well, and he loves it, doesn't he?
He loves it.
Uh-huh.
He is one of the ones who basically has said, I will come back at any time to play
I think
Kingpin.
he's just like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's really acting as Kingpin.
Well, I don't think he's that big of a dick.
No, I don't necessarily mean dick. I mean more just kind of aloof. But
Oh, sure, yes.
so we did get Hawkeye home for Christmas.
Yep.
He brought Kate and Lucky
Lucky the pizza dog.
with him. And we found out that the watch was A, a Rolex.
Yeah.
But B,
It belonged to Laura.
Laura. I was like, Linda.
Yeah. And it had a shield logo on the back and said the number 19. And we have been led to believe that she was a mockingbird, which I guess was Shield's answers to the widows,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
Your husband Will was kind of particularly bummed that Linda didn't show up and kick ass.
Yeah.
He had convinced himself
Yeah, it
she
was
was going to
gonna
get some. And I was like, I don't think she is.
I mean, maybe in the future, if she can kick ass, could you imagine her and Kobe Smulders?
I wouldn't want a ton.
Yeah.
But I think it would be I think it would be really good if they were in a position where especially people weren't anticipating her being able to
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like,
To
throw
disarm.
down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I actually just read a headline that Kobe is coming back. I don't remember what for, but they're like, Maria Hill's back for another
Yay,
arc.
exciting.
Yeah, I think that's it. They got their new costumes.
Oh my god, you wore it!
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks so good. I told you.
Yeah,
I told
yeah,
you.
I mean, they look good, but
Yeah.
I guess it's what they're wearing in the promo stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm like, have we not seen
Hers
this?
also looked the same as her archery costume. It was his that was a little bit different, but you're right. I had seen it so much by this point already. But they're purple, which I like a lot.
Well, her was his purple. It looked kind of. Is it just dark?
It was a little purple, but it
Okay.
was dark. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that was Hawkeye. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We will be back. I feel like the next Marvel thing is not until Doctor Strange, right? It might be.
There was a reality where we were meant to be getting Thor: Love and Thunder in February, and I'm very sad
Yeah.
about that. It was going to be Valentine's Day, which I thought was kind of brilliant. I could do this all day.
Oh, So bad.
Stay tuned after the credits for the full
thing.
featuring Adam Pascal.
Yeah.
Good call, Rachel. She was like, "Isn't that Rent?" And I know
the
him
guy
from
from Rent?
Aida,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah, he's like the lead civilian.
Yes. Real.
But he's like a Broadway
Yeah.
like icon. So
Right. Bye.